starting, anything like that. Has anybody financed before?
Yes. I know with service.
Okay, what have you guys used?
Service finance and Green
Okay, so you're pretty familiar with how they work.
I am.
How,
You're going to have to
so they're very simple. They all the apps are done from your phone, so it's really easy to use. As far as the rates, they're really easy to go through. You can always call if you get things turned down. Just call me or Mary, and we can help get those credit decisions reviewed to try and see if we can't get you more. This is what your rate sheet looks like. It goes through the different plans that we offer. Our most popular plan is the 24 months, no interest or payments. And then if your customer is looking for a reduced interest rate and doesn't really feel comfortable paying off in 2 years, the next plan I would suggest is the 4.99% for 144 months. So all you really need to know about doing the application on Service Finance is when you're in the home and you're ready to do the app, you need their driver's license or some form of ID to be able to enter into the app. The homeowner does not have to live at the property, which is kind of nice because you guys have a lot of snowbirds, so they might actually have a residential address in a different state, but they can have a rental in Arizona. So that's very nice. But just make sure you're filling out the app properly. It'll ask you for their billing address and then the project address, and it'll specify that in the app. We typically have about 90 days to complete each project. We can get extensions if something comes up in production as far as like we had to, get a couple of reorders or some service items out, but they're pretty flexible on that. And they don't require proof of income. So if you're doing, a $50,000 loan and you're putting through the app, they're not requesting that you turn in pay stubs to prove that they have X amount of dollars every year. Any questions so far?
Is it a soft inquiry?
It's a hard credit pull. So both finance companies that we use will pull a hard inquiry into credit. So if, for instance, somebody's in the middle of a refinance, that inquiry will show on their credit. One great thing about Service Finance as well, a lot of companies don't like to see inquiries in the middle of a refinance. It's not an actual loan to the project completes. So if they're near the end of a refinance company and their loan officer says that it's okay to pull their credit, we can pull that credit and initiate the project without it affecting that loan process. But we will recommend that you have them contact their loan officer before they make that decision, so nothing we do affects their refinance or their home equity line of credit. So basically, this just kind of walks you through what it's looking for on the application. You'll have your information automatically fill in, and then they'll ask you what type of project you're doing, how much you're selling it for, and if there's a down payment. By down payment, they're meaning if you're doing a $25,000 sale and they're putting $5,000 cash down, you would put the total sale in, then their down payment, so they're only financing $20,000. It does kind of help to have cash payments sometimes, especially on the bigger contracts, because it shows that they're putting more money towards it, so approvals can increase, but it's not necessary. Any questions so far? Okay. And they do have a proposal tool, so you can do different types of loan programs if you want to show them what $15,000 on 24 months no interest and payments is going to look like, as opposed to a couple of different other reduced interest rates. It'll break it down for you here, and you can have them select which one they're more comfortable with. And then what will happen is you'll hit apply now, and that's where you'll start filling out the customer's information. Green Sky is our secondary finance company. They work very similar. It's a very similar portal to Service Finance. They're our second look, so if Service Finance does not approve the loan, you can always try Green Sky. Right after that, it would be another credit pull, so keep that in mind. But they have pretty similar rates. But I've highlighted the ones that are pretty typical that we use a lot. So the no interest, no payment plans, those are all highlighted here. Keep in mind though, like I said, this one starts immediately. So as soon as you sell that job and you turn in your contract, their promotional period starts. That's also true with the reduced interest rate loans. The 4.99 for 184 or for 84 months is a very popular plan for us here in Denver. But that loan will start right away, so they'll receive their first statement within 30 days. And one thing that kind of throws people off is if they don't have their windows installed by then, they're paying for them before they're ready.
So is there a
that's
general?
why we prefer through service.
Okay, so that's specific to Green Sky. So just for my own clarity, and hopefully this adds some clarity for them too. With service, is it all of the minimum monthly payments or the reduced interest rate loans start after the install?
Every single loan on Service Finance starts after install,
And how far after install?
30 to 45 days.
Fantastic.
So they'll get a welcome packet and a welcome call from Service Finance when we hit complete the project, and typically their first statement arrives within 30 days.
Thank you.
And Green Sky, their statements arrive immediately on application. So you'll see those, they'll see them right away.
Awesome. Thank you. None of these interest rates are high because all of these interest rates are unsecured money, and that's a piece that we'll work on as we talk about price presentation. But our cost to dealer can be high, and that's what I was trying to show you. Man, we keep losing her. Krista, we lost you again, baby. You're all broken up. Yes. That's the cost that we get charged for it. And you get 10% built into the price of your product or into your sale. And anything beyond that 10%, which is very reasonable, 10%, I mean, you can get down to a 4.99 and only have a little tiny bit out of your commission. You know, so it's very reasonable what's built in, but you want to maximize the way you build the package. You can say something?
Yes, so
Krista, you're back.
Yeah, sorry.
We missed you. Hold on real quick. Russ had a question, and I was trying to buy us some time anyways.
24 inches, I was,
The 24, yeah, so if you want to,
so the overage should still be up.
I don't remember what so here we go right here. So the 24, where is it? Right here,
For
yes.
24 months, same as cash through service is 10.5%.
Yeah, so see, that takes a half a point out of, well, a split half a point out of your commission.
It's different, yeah.
24 months, 0 interest, 10,000. Yeah, let's keep, my eyes got screwed. I saw the details of that project. And then.
I'll give you guys some strategies for that stuff too. But go ahead.
No, the other question.
Okay. All right. Well, we need to come up with a signal that I can give you, Krista, for whenever we lose you. But
I do have a question actually for them. Is for every company's been this way, it's the household income, correct?
So Green Sky is household income and Service Finance is individual income. So if you're pushing like a certain DTI, if you know you're in the house and they have, one person has great credit, but they have a lot of debt, or their debt to income ratio is like 20 to 30%, you typically might want to add a co-borrower just to be safe.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're caught up, kind of. We'll see. So we're ready, I guess.
Green Sky is very easy to use. fills out the same way. You type in the customer's information, the plan number you want, how much it's going to be. Have them sign in the app. Both apps have that option so they can accept their loan documents right away. And it gives you a breakdown on how the approval comes across. You have to activate the loan on GreenSky, which means they have to answer a security question about their credit. And typically a goofy one like, how tall are you and your driver's license. So you'll just make sure you want to do that in the home because we don't know how tall they are and we can't do it from the office if we don't have that information. So just make sure you're following each prompt and not cutting out early as soon as you see that approval.
Got it.
And then, like I said, these are some of the most popular plans. I put another round of interest in different plans in here. The last page kind of goes over all of our plans that are under 10%. So I know that you guys are looking at that when you're looking at your commissions. Keep in mind that 24 months is only 0.5%, and we're splitting that with you. So if you even build a little bit in, it's not going to hurt you to do the 10.5%. You're still going to make a really decent commission offering people 24 months no interest payment, which a lot of companies don't do. A lot of those companies that do offer it have the same thing with GreenSky. Renewals are big ones on there, where they offer you 2 years no interest payments, but it's not a true no interest payment. It's a no interest with deferred, or it's a deferred interest with no payment. So basically, you're accruing interest that whole 24-month period, and if you don't pay it off, you're charged interest for that entire time. Versus service finance, which if you pay off $10,000 of $25,000, you're only charged $15,000 in interest for the 2 years. We really like service finance. They're very good at handling customer complaints or anything that categorizes that issues or projects. So we would definitely prefer you go with them. They do kind of match. The lowest they go on their no interest payment plans are about a 700 credit score to get that 24 no interest no payments. However, like I said, if you're getting things turned down from the home, that's where you can call Mary and I while you're either in the home, or you can send us an email. We can contact our loan officer to see if we either need a co-borrower or what they're looking for to get us an approval. They work a lot with us to make sure we're getting the sales we need as well.
Is there a dollar amount, minimum or maximum on 24
Yep, so you'll see
And
on
then say
that last page, it shows the minimums and maximums. Service finance will go up to 100,000, and their minimum is 3,500, I believe. Or no, it's 1,000. Sorry. The reduced interest plans are free, minimum of 3, but their no interest payment plans are minimum 1,000. They do max out at 100, and they do not go over 100. So if you do an awesome job and you sell 150, call me. So we can work a strategy out to get them what we need. Either we're doing 2 loans, or helping them with cash, or whatever we need to do. But they do max out at 100. So that's a little challenging if you're going to sell $100,000. But yeah. Do you guys want to see the apps?
Yeah, for sure we want to see the apps. And you are able to get on the radio? Or is it not good? Okay, well both of those work now. So let's try and do what's the app you work on? Well, if you're willing to let me do it right now, I'll do it. See if you guys are both of you guys.
I'm using my iPad.
You want me to do it on your iPad?
Yeah, 'cause I'm using my work phone real quick.
Yeah.
Hi.
This is not real. This is also for me, so that I can see what I have to do. And the document, we work on this document together, so we can go through this document together too. Yeah, she'll be fine. She loves me too. Let's see.
Yeah.
Oh, she's talking to you. Hey, buddy. Yeah, good job. Good job.
Okay, can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Awesome. So this is the Service Finance app. You'll see it has a couple of different options on here. Payments is not for you, that's for me. Commercial is not for you, that's for somebody else. But you'll always get a new loan app. Here you can access your loan pipeline. This will be any loans that you have put through. It will show you the application number, who it is, and how much they were approved for. If you need to access it at any time or request changes, you can do it from here. And that's down, like I said, on view load pipeline. A new application, you can hit here. You can hit scan driver's license. However, that is a little bit difficult sometimes because it will pull maybe a neighbor's address or it doesn't really come through clearly. I normally suggest to do enter manually because it's just easier and you get your information without feeling like you're all over the place. And this is the same thing that I showed you in the packet. So $25,000 loan, if you're doing $5,000 down payment, it'll automatically calculate how much you want to finance. To select your program, you would just scroll through your list of stuff. You should always keep your little printout with you so you know which one you want to quote them. And then you'll just continue to fill out the application manually. So first name, last name, phone number, email, social, date of birth, driver's license. If they don't have one, you can use a passport, military ID, state ID. Most people have them. Passport would be the next popular one, but if for some reason you're hung up on that, give me a call. You'll do the property address, which would be where we were installing the windows. Billing address, like I said, they can live somewhere else, or if their parents are financing for them, they can live in Wisconsin and do it for a project that is here. You can also add a co-applicant from here and do the same information for them. You're looking for the gross monthly income for each person, so just make sure you have that separated. You don't want to combine them into one because it will either deny or they basically can see what they made from their credit report, which one thing I'm not sure if I mentioned, but Service Finance primarily pulls TransUnion, so you want to keep an eye out on that.
So, if
And
I
then
can,
you'll
let me
just
interrupt you real quick, Krista. Earlier, Russ and I did the classic salesman thing, where whenever you said that service used personal individual income, we kind of looked at each other across the room and we're like, yeah, right, well, we'll be putting down the household income there. And so I want to pause here because you were happy that you got your email set up, and so you were reading that a little bit. And I want to make sure that you heard that she says that we don't want to mess around with the numbers at all, because they're going to pull a credit report and they'll be able to actually see at least a general rough idea of something that will tell them that we put a household income instead of an individual income. So make sure that
Yeah. I mean, they don't verify income, so it's a very fine line.
yeah, I know, but we could always just do a co-borrow if they both have decent credit, and we don't need to act like that. That's just me and Russ just going a little haywire there.
What if you had a co-borrow involved?
Yeah, put them on. As long as their credit's good.
So you would have a price on Service Finance?
Yeah, it has a spot in the app where it's either a co-borrow or whatever, and then you put it on, tap the plus button, and then all this stuff.
Either of these companies have a minimum income requirement.
No, they don't say they do, but it depends on what you're financing, really.
Well, I mean,
If
DTI
you're
is
looking
always
to
be a piece of it.
you're looking for, a 30% DTI. Typically. So if you were financing a $25,000 loan, they would need to make $7,500 annually to them to be able to afford the minimum if they default. That's typically what they look for, but they don't always look at the person's great credit. They'll look at, the equity in the home. They look at a bunch of other things
What if you're,
as well. So
I have a question. You mentioned a scenario where the parents might have been paying for it and living in another state, are we running the parents' credit, not theirs?
yeah, you can add the parents to here as long as you have the correct project address on the application of where we're performing the work, and then you specify the billing address. That's fine. It's not something you're going to run into a lot.
Thank you.
And there's this a proposal tool in the payment calculator. You can mess around with this if you're in a home. If you have somebody looking for a specific amount, you can compare different loan types here and give them different payment options that will fit their budget if they're a little apprehensive. So, yeah, I can hear you.
Didn't one of these have a problem with the expiration of Arizona driver's license on it, if I remember? I don't think it was no bad credits, either, these guys sort of were trying to put in some of these Arizona driver's licenses are, for 20, 30 days. So,
I have not had a problem with that at all. If for some reason if you see that right away, call me, but I've been processing applications for Service Finance down there for about almost 2 years now, and I haven't had a single problem with any of the licenses. And Green Sky does not require a driver's license, so we don't have any issues there either.
Hey, Krista?
Yeah.
So, just now you were scrolling through the plans, so kind of a side note question for me. Do we as a company have the ability to sort those
like, either yourself or collaborating with service to sort them by priority. If I wanted to say, hey, these are your 5 desktops, these are your 7 desktops, and just put those up at the top so that, well, yeah, we have the ability to do that.
Not through service finance, we do through GreenSky.
Okay, thank you.
But this is the proposal tool, so you can see on the 24 months that there's no payments. There's no monthly payments for 24 months. If they default and they don't pay it off in 2 years, they'd be paying $525 a month. If they wanted a more solid plan that's not going to change, 4.99% for 144 months, that'd be $231 starting application of installation. So there's no zero interest period there. So that's basically service finance. So when you guys get into your phones and download your apps, that's your main one you'll be using.
Good news on that front, I just got everybody in, so whatever you did, if you get them to redo stuff for us, they're all in one.
Perfect. And this is GreenSky. To do a new application, you would just hit application. You can do payment estimator, which is the same thing as the proposal tool. So picking different plans, and you can add up to 3. And it'll give you different options for them. You can do a demo application when you log into this. I recommend you guys all do that just so you can kind of familiar yourself, right, yourself with what it's going to ask you in the home. But basically, this is what it's going to look like live. Service finance doesn't have that, but this is pretty similar to how it's going to be, except for the fact that they only require you to put in a date of birth and a social security number and the income and the street address.
Again, for my own benefit, how long does it take? Because since they're all in now, we're going to go ahead and set up their accounts. How long does it take for us to be activated typically?
Service finance takes, you can take up to 24 hours. Green cares very well.
All right, awesome. Thank you.
So with everything, it'll have you go through the terms and conditions. This will be the case on service finance as well. It'll have you review the application for errors and have the customer sign off.
Does it let you know if you're missing a spot?
Yeah, it'll kick you back to the previous screen. So when you get an approval or a decision, it'll pop up here, and it'll tell you what you got approved for. I put in I wanted 25, but I guess it didn't like how much money I made, so it only gave me 10. This is where you would want to call Mary to see if you can get that increase. If I wanted 10, you can hit next, and it shows you just the process
Give yourself a raise.
of what they're looking for. I know, right? Come on.
Hey, this is another kind of management question. Is Dave Anderson over at Services Team our primary, or do we have like a little account rep? Or just an account rep?
We typically filter all our questions through Dean. Dean is our contact. I will email his information to all of you guys so you have a copy of it. He handles all of my questions typically within a matter of minutes. So anything I need done on my own or any issues that I'm having, he will handle it. And if I have to escalate it today, that's when I will escalate it. If it gets to that point though, I would prefer you guys reach out to me so I can help without having you have to spend so much time doing it.
I don't think you need to send them. I don't think you need to send them Dean's info at this point. I would rather develop the habit of working with, our company representatives and letting you do your thing in the background so they could do the thing. And plus, you already have relationship established, with them. But I'm asking for myself, so I would like Gene's info, and then I've been working with Dave for a few years, and so I just need to connect with him for that work.
Yeah, Dave handles some more complex issues, like the $100,000 loans we're trying to push. So Dave would be everything else. So I'll send you some info. Like I said, on GreenSquare, that security question is very important that you get it to fill out, because then you can activate the loan. You can't do that without that step. So just make sure you're doing that. And when your loan's activated, you'll see a screen like this. So it's very easy software to use. They have a little video section too, and you can go through the notes on your packets if you have any questions. Your first couple, if you feel uncomfortable doing it, just give me a call and I'll walk you through it on the phone, or do it with you on the phone so the customer is right there. So we're asking all the right questions if you feel you need more help. Yeah. Does anybody have any other questions? Does anybody have any other questions right now?
Yeah.
I think it'll take you guys getting into the apps and looking at them to make it feel like this is going to be better training, because you'll have something to look at, and then you can develop your questions. If you do have questions after this, feel free to call me or email me. I'm more than happy to answer them.
Thank you for your time.
Yeah, and then with any market search question, Mary's also an excellent resource. She can show you how to do it. She's been doing it for years, so she is very familiar with the systems as well. So if for some reason you're hung up and you can't get a hold of me, Mary would be somebody you can reach out to.
Awesome.
Okay.
So what we're going to do is we're going to go and set up their accounts, and we'll get them to play around with it a little bit. We'll do some role play and stuff, and then we'll collect any additional questions that come up that you can help with. And we appreciate everything you do.
Awesome. Well, you guys have a good day.
Thank you.
Good luck. Bye.